Guild Wars 2's new expansion Path of Fire drops at the end of the week. If you're a brand new player, Guild Wars 2 may be a little different than what you're used to. And for returning players, a lot may have changed since you've been away. Here's a quick Guild Wars 2 crash course to refresh your memory or get you up to speed. I have to throw this one out there first, because it may be the most important. Looking for group has been added to Guild Wars 2, but it may not be so obvious to find. The hotkey to open the menu is Y. Then, you can search for what kind of content you'd like to consume in a list form. There's going to be a tab for everything. After you find the tab you're looking for, merely click on it and a drop-down menu will appear to refine your search. As you click on each option, a party list will appear in the window to the right if a party is forming. If there isn't one for the content you're looking for, make your own. Don't be shy. I'm a totally casual player and I've filled groups in seconds by forming my own squad and parties. Let's talk terms. Guild Wars 2 has its own MMO lingo you'll need to understand to know what the hell people are talking about. Most terms you'll find familiar. AoE, DPS, CC, etc. But some terms are strictly used in Guild Wars 2. Let's start with train. A train is a massive group of people participating in some form of content on a map. This can be anything from world boss hunting, meta event grinding, karma farming, experience farming, capturing points in world versus world maps, etc. When you haven't learned your way around a map, check the group finder for a train participating in content you like. It's a great way to familiarize with a map and see firsthand what kind of events a map offers. Taxi is bringing more players to an instance or map. Guild Wars 2 divides the same map into separate instances. That way no one has to wait in a queue and everyone can play. So just because you're in a zone doesn't mean you're in the most populated one. Because the population is spread too thin, events may fail if there isn't enough players participating and organizing. Using the party system, you can party and right-click on a party member's name and select Join Map Instance. That will transfer you to their map, where more players are present, and your chance for group content success will rise significantly with more players. WB stands for World Boss. Returning players are familiar with these, but for new players, World Bosses can spawn after small events, all the way to massive map-wide events. They provide great experience and awesome loot. Their location is pretty obvious on the map, marked with a horned skull, so keep your eyes peeled. WP stands for Waypoint. Waypoints are fast travel points on every map. You can link a waypoint in the chat window by shift-clicking. This can help players find you quickly, in case you need help with an event or world boss fairly close to a waypoint. Tag, pin, or comm refers to the commander triangle located above players leading an event, train, or other form of content. If you're new to a zone or arrive in the middle of an event, follow the tag. Chances are they'll point you in the right direction. 99% of the time, commanders know what the hell they're doing. AP stands for Achievement Points. You'll find trains in Looking for Group all the time for players exploring maps and earning AP. AP can earn you cool rewards and titles. Hop on the train and join the fun. Fractal is short for Fractal of the Mists. These are short instances divided into numbers that vary in location and difficulty. The starter fractals are a great way to learn your class and hone your skills. AR, or Agony Resistance, refers to the Fractal of the Mists system. The harder the dungeons get, the more damage you'll take. You can stack items on your armor to raise your Agony Resistance. This will deter some damage and help you progress further. JP is short for Jumping Puzzles. These are secret locations on maps that you'll be rewarded for solving. There's usually one or more on every map, and you'll be rewarded with a chest on completion. Meta is short for Meta Event, usually a culmination of a series of events completed by players on a map. These usually involve an epic conclusion to the overall story you've encountered. POI are Points of Interest, small squares that reward experience for visiting them for the first time. These are needed to complete 100% exploration of a zone in Guild Wars 2. MP are Mastery Points, points scattered throughout the map used to unlock abilities with the Mastery system added in Heart of Thorns. There's always trains in Looking for Group hunting these points, and you can bet new masteries will be added with the release of Path of Fire. The apple is the mentor icon. This is an apple icon above a player similar to the Commander Tag. This is someone advertising their ability to help you find your way around Tyria. You can either ask them questions or just follow them to see what they have to show you. You'll always learn something new. Cata and Treb are short for Catapult and Trebuchet. These are siege weapons players construct to take keeps and points in world versus world maps. Keep in mind there's abbreviations for numerous events, maps, and world bosses scattered throughout Tyria. There's far too many to label them all here, but if you don't know an abbreviation, ask a player. Someone is always willing to help clarify. For new players, the abbreviations may be a bit overwhelming, but trust me, when you hop in and play, things will become very clear. When it comes to combat, don't just auto-attack. Find a rotation. It's easy to get caught up in spamming the auto attack for returning and new players. I'm no exception. It may be fine starting out, but the game gets a little rough the further you progress. Chances are you're going to have a way easier time if you look up a DPS rotation, and your party will thank you. Don't forget you can dodge. Enemies telegraph their attacks, whether it's red marks on the ground or physical tells. If you dodge often, you'll survive long enough to walk away victorious. The Defiance Bar, or Break Bar, is a mechanic introduced in the Heart of Thorns expansion. This is a mechanic that restricts the use of CC effects like interrupts and movement impairing skills from being used on an enemy. You'll mostly see these bars on powerful champion level creatures. Sometimes the bar is locked, like this, unlocked, where you can use CC effects to deplete the bar, or both, where the bar can only be depleted at certain times during a fight. Once the break bar is depleted, the mob will be vulnerable in some way, maybe stunned, knocked down, or exposed to more damage from players. If you see this bar, please utilize your CC spells to break it when the opportunity arises. Some mobs won't be defeatable without taking advantage of the mechanic. Check an online guide to see which of your class abilities can affect the break bar. Remember, you can play with players from any server. If you are separated from your friends, there's nothing to worry about. Add them to your friends list, party up, and you'll have the option to select their name and guest on the other player's server. You can guest for as long as you want. The only content you won't be able to participate in together is World vs. World. That's server locked, but everything else is free game. Speaking of free, the Guild Wars 2 base game is completely free to play. That way, if you have any buddies who are on the fence about purchasing Path of Fire, they can grab a taste of Guild Wars 2 and feel it out before they drop money on the expansion. And probably the number one thing to remember, don't rush through maps and content if you don't want to. Stay near NPCs after an event to see if anything new triggers. You may get to listen to some unique dialogue. Travel off the beaten path and you'll discover all sorts of cool secrets. Guild Wars 2 rewards players for exploration, so explore. It's Guild Wars 2's best quality, and since there's no rush to level cap, you can take your time and take it all in. If you thought this refresh guide was helpful, let us know in the comments below. If you thought it was stupid, let us know in the comments. We love to hear your opinions, and stick around for our Guild Wars 2 Path of Fire expansion review coming right after release.